Holy shit, what's up, Onnit people? We're back with the Onnit podcast. Hopefully never to leave again, except when I'm on adventures in the jungle, and then we're out of luck. But other than that, we're going to commit. We're going to commit, right, Lando?
Yeah,
to weekly podcasts.
Sure. We have one next week.
We have one next week. See, there we are. We're 2 in a row. And then I'm going to prove. So don't mind that. But after that, we're fucking committed. And today, we are here with a pretty good athlete, a guy named Trey Hardee. He's a decathlete. He wins medals, goes to the Olympics and shit. What's up, Trey? How are you doing here?
I'm doing well.
Was that like the best intro you've ever got?
It really is. That was the most energy, though. That was, if we could do it again and you could maybe put more energy into it.
Yeah. Yeah, that could be good.
Yeah, that was great.
Moving my beverages around, Lando.
Yeah, it's in the camera. It doesn't look good.
My collection of beverages. Yeah. Well, welcome, man. Glad to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's been a little while. You've been taking the Onnit stuff for a little while, and finally got you on in here. So that's good. It's been a moment. But let's take it back to the early days. I like to start and see how someone like yourself develops. Well, first of all, maybe we should let people know some of your highlights in your career. As I mentioned, decathlete. But what are some of the accomplishments you've had? And you just mentioned one to me today about where you're finishing actually in the world.
Yeah. So first of all, the decathlon has nothing to do with swimming or bicycling or
it's
anything
not
like
a triathlon.
No kayaks, nothing like that. It's 10 events in 2 days, every event in track and field, and the winner
except for steeplechase.
No steeplechase, so it's running
don't
and jumping
lie
and
don't
throwing.
lie to our people.
What's that?
Don't lie to our people.
Yeah,
there's no steeplechase.
I'm gonna go. I can't do this anymore. But the winner is considered the world's greatest athlete. So like 100 years ago, Jim Thorpe won the very first Olympic decathlon, and the king of Prussia at the time said, "You, sir, are the world's greatest athlete," and that kind of, I guess, moniker or that title has kind of stuck through the years. And so yeah, man, it kind of chooses you. I didn't grow up. I grew up in Alabama. I didn't grow up saying like, oh, I want to be a decathlete. I really just wanted to play sports with my friends, and that's what I did every day, every afternoon, every weekend, everything. There was a season for something, and it was always sports, and it kept me busy. Probably kept me out of trouble, and eventually, as you get older, you kind of specialize. And I thought I was going to play basketball at some like small D2 place, and then I got cut from the basketball team. I was a starter. Like, I played basketball. I'm not going to toot my own horn. I wasn't great, but I was good.
Yeah.
I'm the greatest athlete in the world. I was good at basketball. And I never really put a lot of focus into it or put a lot of focus in anything because I was always going from one sport to the next. And the coach just said, we don't need you this year. And I'm like, all right, well, I'll do whatever. I'll play. I was only a junior, so I was like, all right, well, I guess I'll play. So
this is college or high school?
No, this is high school. And so I was like, I guess I'll play JV or do whatever. He goes, no, I'll go be a pole vaulter. So I was like, all right, idiot, I'll go be a pole vaulter. And so that got me to college.
What a weird thing, because it's such almost like a story that you hear, like a cliched story. Yeah, I got cut from my basketball team, and then it forced this new kind of action to happen. But
yeah, it kind of forces your hand.
If that coach hadn't done it, you might just be kind of a basketball player with a somewhat decent career.
Maybe not even a decent career,
but
yeah, I would have gone to a much smaller school for sure. And maybe I made it, maybe I didn't make it. But so that's what I did. I went out, I set a couple state records in the pole vault, Alabama state records. So that's like, they're like JV records compared to other states. But it was still something that I thought. It's not known as a
pole vaulting powerhouse, Alabama.
Yeah, I mean, we're doing it. We're making waves. And so that got me into college, and then I kind of dicked around, messed around, did a few other events after I signed my scholarship. And,
so they signed you just as a pole vaulter?
Yeah. And then I started doing some other events, just goofing around.
And for people who think pole vaulting is easy and they want to get a quick, easy scholarship, I don't know. I don't know if that's your best bet, but give it a try.
Try golf first. A lot of those going
there's
around.
Fucking so much competition in golf.
Yeah,
but at least you don't have to be a ridiculous athlete.
Yeah, you can. If you can walk, you can.
I mean, Lando can play golf.
Yeah, I'm pretty good.
Yeah,
I've always said if I was going to ever do a sport, it would definitely be golf because you can start at any age you want.
Oh, I mean, if we're turning back the clock here and I'm picking a professional sport to be in, it's golf.
Yeah.
I mean, you got like a 30-year career.
Yeah,
it's
like
right there.
5'7", doesn't matter.
Yeah,
doesn't matter.
And then when you're done playing, they have a whole nother league for you, the senior tour, and you can still make a lot of money.
There's no senior pole vaulting tour.
No, that's called
I would
casket.
pay a ticket to see the senior pole vaulting tour.
Circuit ends in a casket.
just hip replacement sponsors only.
You pole vault straight into your grave,
right onto the gurney. and they're ready to medevac you.
Hey, no offense to any of the older generation that may be listening. Maybe you can fucking pole vault. Send us a video. We'll send you some free products.
Yeah.
If you're over 50 and you can pole vault, we got you. We got your back and on it. Okay, so all right, so you get on pole vaulting, and then all of a sudden you realize you're good at other shit too.
So the coaches said, like, you're tall.
And you're going to University of Texas, right?
I went to Mississippi State University first. They recruited me out of college or out of high school. Love the campus, love Starkville, love the school, love my coaches, and they're the ones that convinced me to try it first. And so I reluctantly was like, okay, because they're like, you're tall. Decathlons. So you're tall, you're fast, you already know how to pole vault, which is something no coach wants to put that amount of time into a kid who's never tried it. So I did my first one like 3-4 months later, maybe right around 4 months later, and qualified for the NCAA Championships in my very first one, and was like, oh, this isn't that bad. Like, that sucked, but it wasn't that bad.
So which was the one that was the motherfucker for you? Which one were you like, oh, this is included?
Oh,
damn it.
The 1500. And it's still that way. Like, it's
so
at the
like
end.
Just under a mile.
It's the 10th event. It's the metric mile. So it's a football field short of a mile.
Yeah.
So it's the same deal. I mean, after 9 events, it's horrible. You're out there in like full tights.
And it's the last one. It's the last one that you
always
gotta do.
Last one.
Yeah.
So your tank's on empty, and you get a little bit of free energy. You get a little bit of adrenaline, a little bit of that like creatine in your muscles is going to get you through the first 100 meters, and then it just hits you, and you feel like you weigh 900 pounds. And it's just an aerobic battle for 1,200 meters.
Yeah. So take us through all of the events sequentially as you'll do it in a meet. So what does it start with?
So it never changes. It's been the same since the
King of Prussia declared all athletes the greatest athletes.
100 years ago. And it's the 100-meter dash, long jump, shot put, high jump, 400. And then you get a break. You get to go take a nap. And then you come back the next day. And the first event of the second day is the 110 hurdles, followed by the discus, the pole vault, the javelin, and then to win the 1500.
The javelin.
Yeah,
That
super
sounds
primal.
like fun.
That is one of my favorite events.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
I mean, you're doing something that people have been doing in war for 3,000 years.
And killing deers, killing antelope,
just
bringing home the bacon with it. It's super primal. I mean, you're standing at the back of the runway, and you check out. You're no longer on this earth, and you're just trying to chuck something. Honestly, what I do is I find the furthest standing official, or I find some object out in the sector,
you try to kill him.
And I'm like, I'm going to hit this guy in the head. And that's it. And you kind of just need to do that and let your body take over. Yeah.
Does the officials ever like misgauge how far they are?
All the time.
And they're like, fuck!
All the time. You see, I mean, once every 10 years, someone gets a jab through the stomach. Either they're not paying attention, or they're just like, they're not on their P's and Q's, and that thing's coming in hot. It's coming. The hand of a javelin thrower, an elite javelin thrower, moves faster than any sprinter's foot ever will.
What's the kind of yardage that you get on a good throw?
My best throw is 69 meters. So that's like close to 80 yards. It's like 230 feet.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty legit.
It's pretty far.
There's it's pretty, I took a lot of classical history, and so I learned about the different Roman legions and the battle formations that they would use. And they had 3 classes of soldiers. They had the young kids, so they would form up, they would form in their lines. Mm-hmm. And they'd have the younger kids, and their job was basically to run through the lines and throw some spears and then run back, because they weren't seasoned enough to handle the battle formations and the hand-to-hand combat. So they would run through, and sometimes the kids, like when Roman states were fighting each other, or Greek states, and they would get a little excited, and they'd have like a little melee where they'd poke each other in the middle, and then they'd run back. But
I'm picturing legitimate children here. I'm picturing
they
like
probably were
6 and 7-year-old
we're
boys
talking like 12.
laughing,
We're talking like 12 to 15,
slapping each other.
Yeah, with really pointy sticks. So they would run through, and sometimes they'd get a little excited, and most of the time they're just chucking stuff at the army. Okay. And then they would retreat back, and then their job was kind of done. And then the middle rank of soldiers, these were like the 18 to 30-year-old, tough, seasoned vets, and they would they would clash and they would fight. But then the best of the best, the badasses, the equivalent of the special forces, the old hardened, seasoned killers, would just take a knee behind the battle line, helmet off, sword down, and just take a knee and watch the battle. And it was super intimidating for all of the other people who were fighting these armies, because they realized all right, they make it through the kids throwing pointy things at them, right? They usually survive that. And then they had to fight the full force of the army.
Legit grown men.
Yeah, and if they beat them by some fucking stretch of the imagination, they were able to make it through, then they had to go through the toughest crew that was just taking a knee.
The A team was just
the
chilling.
A team, just chilling.
Just finishing their lunch.
Yeah, exactly.
Are we on? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You're all dead.
Exactly. So that always reminds me of that when I see the javelin. I have like a boar spear myself that is not, I don't think it's weighted very good for throwing.
Yeah.
Or maybe I'm not very good at throwing.
Or does
maybe
it
we
need
to
like
go in the back row.
an atlatl, like the thing you have on the end that you just
like
whip
one of
it?
those slings? No, it doesn't. I think it's just too heavy. I mean, I can throw it like 20 yards.
How much does it weigh?
I don't know, like a couple pounds, 5 pounds.
That's a jab weighs 2 pounds.
2 pounds.
800 grams, yeah.
That sounds like about right for getting some distance. And this one, it's a little top heavy. So I don't think that really works. More for like sitting in a tree, I think, and throwing down.
Just letting gravity,
yeah.
letting that thing fall.
Have you ever thought about like spear hunting? I don't know. Do you hunt?
A friend of mine, one time in college, we were at a party, and they're like, oh, my God, there's this possum on the roof, and it can't get down. And my buddy's like, I got it. Went to his car, got a couple jabs, and missed it the first one, and it like scurried into this corner. And it was like, we're not talking about like a baby possum. We're talking about the ugliest, grossest possum. It was probably going to do something really obscene to the house or to someone while they slept or something.
Yeah,
so
we got it. It was a possum rapist.
Yeah,
it's okay to kill possum rapists,
priors.
people.
It had priors.
Yeah.
So this was strike 3, and my buddy just reared back on the second attempt and put one right through his eye.
Oh no!
Like, just pierced the thing's skull. Never saw it coming.
Clean kill.
And it was
no. Did it carry it off the roof though?
Stuck him into the roof. Couldn't get it down. Had to climb up on the roof. It was.
We can't get it down. Let me spear it into the roof, and then we'll get it down.
Yeah. So that was from about 20, 25 yards, which is pretty substantial to hit something between the eyes. It was, but I mean, it was an awesome sight.
I suppose.
Like the thing didn't even make a sound. You know, if you're gonna kill something, usually there's gonna be like this last exhale thing. Yeah. It was just
javelin through the eye, makes no sound.
Done.
Vaporized. Interesting. And that didn't inspire your desire to go out and try and procure some meat?
Those things are expensive. Javelins are expensive. So if you're gonna miss, it's gonna cost you. You know, it's just like shooting with silver bullets. Like make it count.
Yeah. God better be a werewolf.
Yeah,
for sure. All right, we got off track. So you're back. You're back in college.
Oh, what are we talking
about? And you're pretty good. You finished in your first meet. You did well.
Yeah, I was fortunate. Like I've got great genes. My parents are awesome, and I was kind of blessed with stuff you can't coach. Like you can't coach height. Mm-hmm. You can't coach speed.
And you're what, 6'6"?
6'5".
6'5".
And you can't coach being fast. You're either fast or you're not fast. And
right.
I was really fast. And I just had to learn how to do stuff. You know, I'd never thrown anything before and never long jumped, never high jumped. I just had to learn how to do that stuff. So it's still a process, still learning. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so I did that. I scored 8,000 points, which is like a huge barrier. I did that in like my 4th or 5th decathlon, I think 4th one ever. Went to the Olympic trials. I'd just been doing the deck for a year and a half, and I made it to the 2004 Olympic trials. And that was that moment where I'm like, oh my God. Like I'm competing with guys that just won world championships, that won Olympic medals, and I'm lining up next to them. I beat them in a race. They beat me in all the other 9 events, but I beat them in like that one thing. And
Which
I was
race?
Like, the 100.
The 100.
Yeah. And I was like, I can do this. I can hang with these guys. This is something I could actually do. And that's what I wanted to do. And then not a week and a half later, my coaches at Mississippi State decided they were going to take another position. They were going to get out of track and field. They were going to be football coaches and athletic directors and at the high school level.
Title IX.
And that kind of left me hanging.
Didn't they?
And yeah, Title IX took half of my sport. Title IX brought I'm not talking against Title IX. I love women's sports. I
love women too, and women's sports.
I think it's
kind
awesome.
It's kind of an annoying way that they had to do it, though.
I think it's being misinterpreted now.
Yeah, exactly.
They cut half my sport so they could add women's cross country, which I don't know. It is what it is. But that also led me to just look elsewhere, and that brought me to Austin.
The problem with it is that football requires 60 athletes, and there's no female equivalent to that. So you end up having to cut way more men's sports just to accommodate for football, and nobody's willing to get rid of football because
money.
Yeah, it's money for the school.
It's money for track. It's money.
So it's like, I mean, it's just a weird dynamic where you have this built-in, so you end up having more women's sports just because you're carving out a bigger space for the scholarships that you're giving to football. It's just kind of a weird, they should have just had a little more thought to how they wanted to level the playing field there,
Yeah, they were. It's hard to say, like, it's hard to have that foresight and knowing what it would have turned into, knowing what college sports is now.
Yeah, it's hard if you're the government to have that foresight.
Yeah.
to know what's going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, whatever.
That's true.
They made an effort, but we're not here to talk shit about Title IX. Even though I was personally, I had some buddies who came on because it happened right when I was in college too, and they came on and in swim scholarships, and they're some of my good buddies, and all of a sudden they're like, "Yeah, we got no swim team anymore." And they're like, "What the fuck?" Like,
Jeez.
what am I going to do? Am I going to go to a different school? Am I just going to quit swimming? And they just quit swimming and became frat dogs and got drunk. But I don't know if that was the best choice for their life.
Could have been.
Might have been.
Could have been. Sounds great.
You never know. But anyways.
That brought me just to look elsewhere, and I took one visit. You go through that whole recruiting process all over again, and I took one visit to UT, came to Austin, saw what this city was all about. And I'd been a couple other times just to Texas Relays. And it was awesome. I mean, this was the place for me. And I really flourished here. I really grew, put on a lot of muscle, like grew up a little bit, was out on my own a little bit further away from home, became more self-reliant. And I won the NCAA championships the next season, first year at Texas. And then the next year.
Junior year?
My junior season, 2005. So 9 years ago. And the very next season in 2006, I set the collegiate record. I was the best decathlete ever in the history of college sports. And at that point, it was like, all right, this is what I'm going to do. Yeah. This is where it's at. Yeah. And that's been it. I've had injuries and weird stuff happen along the way, but I made the Olympic team in 2008. You think? That's 5 years after I started doing it. I made an Olympic team, and it's just been an awesome journey. The next season, I won my first world championship in Berlin. I was the number 3 or 4 best American ever in history, number 7 or 8 all time at the time in the world ever, and it just was like this weird roller coaster. I won my second world championship in 2011, and then I had Tommy John surgery right a few weeks after that championship to get ready for London, and I ended up making the Olympic team 8.5 months after Tommy John surgery. It's kind of one of the quickest recoveries of that surgery ever. And 6 weeks after that, I got the silver medal in London.
Is your dad Wolverine?
Man, that would be awesome.
Okay.
Even the placebo effect of being like, yeah, my dad can beat up your dad. So, yeah, it's been an awesome, awesome ride. And never would have thought it. Even 10 years ago, never would have thought I'd be doing decathlon stuff.
And then right now, you're one of the top-ranked decathletes in the world, right?
I am. Right now, I have the number 1 score in the world. Hopefully in the season that way, there's one more big decathlon in Europe for like Europeans only, and
how exclusive and
very
snooty.
Exclusive. It'd be like having the Onnit championships and no one else was invited. So,
have you been to the gym after 4 o'clock? It's basically what
it is. Onnit World Championships, 5 days a week,
every day.
Yeah. So yeah, I went over to the big deck over in Austria less than a month ago, and I won that. That was really awesome. It was my second time winning that deck, and I had the world leading score, best score in the world, and then went and just won the U.S. championships last weekend. Had 2 really unbelievably bad events, and still with 100 points better than what I scored in Austria.
What were your bad events?
The long jump and the javelin were just crap. Inexplicable crap. There's no way for me to explain it other than it was, I just pooped my pants and that was it.
Well, it seems like with the long jump, you could have some foot issues where you cross the line. Was it any of that stuff?
I fouled, yeah. That's some of the issues. I fouled a big jump. I had a big jump in there and gave up like 1.5 feet, by fouling that one, and then just couldn't get it together.
Yeah. That's why it's so tough. You try and hype. Remember, there's that infamous time where America hyped the shit out of Dan and Dave.
Yeah.
And it's so much leading up to it, but there's so many areas where some little shit can go wrong.
All 10 events, something can tragically go wrong. It's the best way to describe it. And then the fickle nature of the sport is the Seinfeld episode where he's like, all right, like in the 100, national hero, nobody's ever heard of you. National hero, nobody's ever heard of you.
Yeah.
National hero, like this much determines your life. Yeah. It's pretty weird. And then in decathlon, there's 10 of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, good shit. Well, you've talked a lot about some of your natural gifts, and obviously those are necessary to be the best at something like decathlete to a certain degree. You can't just decide, if you're anybody in the world can't be a world-class decathlete guy. But you also, there's a lot of people who have your same kind of genetics, the same kind of frame. There has to be a lot of attention intelligently paid to both recovery and your kind of work ethic and getting this done. So talk a little bit about that. Like how has that journey been for you?
Absolutely. So, my whole life, I never took anything, never had any supplementation. I was just a little wiry kid. I was 6'3", 155 pounds graduating high school. Mm-hmm. And then I'm 6'5", 210 right now. So something happened along the way. And I was definitely...
Sex.
No. College definitely happened, but it was
as I said.
It was, I'd always been in the camp, like my first strength coach was like, you got to get, a whey protein shake and have it every day, have it before practice, after practice. And I think we all know what that does to your insides. And I was from that camp. I was like, well, what else is there? There's nothing else in there. And like the story that led me to Onnit was my fiance was talking about, like, she only does plant-based stuff. Can't do whey, can't do any of that stuff. And I was always the guy, like, immediately after a workout, weight room, track, anything, I was like scrambling, trying to find my shaker with my vanilla whey protein in there. Mm-hmm. And she was always on plant stuff. Trey, try the plant, try this thing, try this. And honestly, I tried like one, maybe a half of one another time, and she was putting like kale and putting all kinds of greens in it. And that's just, oh man, it tasted like garbage. And so that got me off.
After workout, like I don't mind a kale shake, but not right when I'm finished sweating.
Exactly.
No way.
And so she was doing some research and actually found Onnit. Like, I live in Austin, and she was looking at Onnit and was like, Trey, you need to look at this stuff. I'm going to go get some. We're going to try it. But you should reach out to these guys and see what they have to say. After reading about all the product descriptions and stuff, I was like, okay, this is right up my alley. And so I contacted you, and honestly, it was like not this epiphany, but it was, you talked to me a little bit about like front loading your recovery. Like, why do you need to jam a shake down your throat if it's already in your system?
Yep.
Why do you need to do that if you've already got the nutrients in the muscle bellies that are ready to go? You've already got a healthy functioning liver you don't need to destroy right now.
Right.
Why don't you already have it in your system? Why don't you try X, and Y? Mm-hmm. And I was like, all right, I'll give it a shot. And I was looking through the emails that I wrote you, and I was like, Aubrey, I feel amazing. I've never felt this balanced. I stopped taking naps. I sleep better. I'm more even throughout the day. Like, it totally changed my approach to recovery, in that every meal I have is a recovery meal. Mm-hmm. I wake up in the morning and my breakfast is a recovery meal. My snack is a recovery snack. And even if I'm not lifting or working out or running or doing anything, everything I'm doing is front loading and like kind of paying that forward to my body. Like, I'm about to break you down, but I'm giving you everything you need. Yeah. And it helps on the back end infinitely. I mean, it was unbelievable. I had the most injury-free season I'd ever had this past year. I felt better in all my decathlons. I felt better in every event I ever did. I trained harder, and I slept like a baby. It was great. Like, it's this like looking forward into the next 2 seasons and leading into Rio, I am so pumped, so ready to go.
We're pumped too. That's maybe the best Onnit testimonial we've ever gotten on a podcast.
Real Onnit functionality, right?
Yeah. There. Well, that's sick, man. So, all right. So Rio's the next target, huh? And that's so Olympic gold is obviously, that's got to be the top.
That would be awesome. I mean, we have the World Championships next summer in between, and that's a huge stepping stone.
Didn't you won one of those already?
I won though? 2.
You won 2.
Yeah, I've got 2, okay. But 3 would be great. 3 would be great.
I like it.
3, yeah. So that would be awesome. But for me, I love what I do and I enjoy what I do, and I do it for the love of competition and for the love of the sport, and just to test myself.
Has any U.S. athlete ever won the Olympic gold though?
All of them have. I think we have the most Olympic golds.
in decathletes?
Yeah.
Okay.
We've got.
So we're kind of the best at that.
We're the best. There's only been 23 like Olympic decathlons that the U.S. has participated in, and I think we have like 17 or 18 gold medals. Like, we own it.
Yeah.
Like, we own it. Like the Spurs own the NBA.
Man, that's tough. It's tough to hear.
They're good.
I'm gonna shake that off though.
They're good.
I'm just gonna shake that off.
Too soon?
Yeah. Did you know I was a Heat fan, or you just kind of throwing
Oh
that
no,
out
I
there?
had no idea.
Okay, well, cool.
But now I do.
Yeah, yeah, it was good. It was well
I
timed.
immediately regret that.
It was a good little body shot, you know.
But yeah, so America, historically, we own it. Like, it's ours.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if it's just that American mentality, that like grit, or what it is, but I don't know, man. We're just
Yeah, you got it.
kind of better than everything.
America. Yeah. Cool, man. Well, I guess the athletic side apart, how is the life of a decathlete? I mean, it's a sport that everybody has innate respect for, but not a lot of people follow, not a lot of people know about.
Yeah.
So how is that aspect, as far as, this is your sport, you're one of the best in the world, but you can probably shop at Whole Foods with impunity.
Absolutely.
Because nobody,
Oh, yeah.
Nobody really recognizes
I could walk around with a shirt that says, "I'm Trey Hardee, Olympic silver medalist," and everyone would just be like, "Can I help you?"
It's kind of a funny dynamic. Is there like other countries where, because I know, I'm really good friends with Bodie Miller, and he's one of the probably the
He
top
probably
U.S.
can't move
skier.
in Austria.
Yeah, in Austria, he's a fucking superhero.
Yeah.
In America, it's like one weird guy
You're
out
that
of
guy.
every like 500 that'll come up and
Yeah, who's actually from Austria?
yeah,
Exactly.
exactly. He has an accent. Is there some places where that's like really followed and popular?
Absolutely. I mean, soccer, in that like world triumvirate of sports, I mean, you have soccer or football.
Mm-hmm.
Tennis is a world highly diverse sport.
Yep.
Cricket. Cricket's a huge sport.
Yep.
And rugby.
Cricket, the great thing, I lived in Australia for a while. The great thing about cricket is you can totally fall asleep, take a nap, wake up, and you know exactly what the hell
Are you
happened.
still playing? Okay.
Yeah. Oh, he's still batting. Okay, cool.
How
Okay,
many-
cool. I'll go back.
How many wickets?
How many? Yeah, 320. That's awesome. He's really on a roll. I'll go back to bed.
Oh man. And track. Track is a global sport. Every country has a track. Every high school in America has a track. So literally every other place other than North America, maybe South America, it's a very popular thing. In Europe, I get recognized all the time. I mean, Europe is a big deal. London was great because it's in Europe. Track and field was front and center. I go to Germany every summer for training camps and stuff. I speak a little German, and everything there is. They have a really good history in the decathlon, especially. And yeah, Austria is a big track country. But anywhere but here.
So
and it's
funny.
kind of great.
Yeah.
It's kind of, you get that reprieve. You get that little, like, I love being able to go to Whole Foods and not be
Right.
pestered.
Right. Yeah. No,
Absolutely.
it makes sense.
So I was thinking, like, if I was going to be in the Olympics, what would be my sport? I'd say probably like
Curling.
So curling would be something anybody could probably pick up, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to be in any type
It's
of
a
shape
skill.
or-
Curling
it's
is
all-
like an
it's all
acquired skill. It's not like, there's no archetype of like, oh, you were born to be a curler, you know? It's not like Phelps. Like Phelps, if he wasn't an amazing swimmer, he messed up,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's the one for me then.
Curling. We decided that was so easy. We both came to that same conclusion.
I'll start
at
sweeping all the
came to
floors here
same conclusion
at work.
at the same time.
Practice.
Beautiful. That makes a lot of sense. Well, let's, as we close this podcast out here, what kind of message do you think, any kind of inspirational message or any kind of tip that you would pass on to people looking just basically for success, finding their path or, finding this athletic path as they go forward?
Man, that's easy. I think one of the best things I ever heard, it was a graduation speech one of my roommates gave when I was at Texas, and it translates into all aspects of life, and I've added a little bit to it, but it boils down to you can't fake work. You can't fake it. You can fake a lot of stuff in life, fake having money, fake having friends, fake a lot of things. You can, with the internet and everything is fake anyways, but you cannot fake work. And obviously you have to work smart, you have to work hard. You have to work towards a path and towards a goal, and you have to be consistent, but you can't fake it. I couldn't have shown up at the U.S. Championships not having busted it from mid-September to April. There's no way that could have happened. I couldn't have just showed up and been like, all right, let's do this. You can't fake putting in those hours, and you can't fake the consistent day in and day out grind of what goal pursuit is, of what trying to reach for something is. And that's the number one thing. It is not, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. There's no way. You can't buy it. You can't wish it. You can't sleep on it. You can't do anything. You have to actually go out and do it and work, and you can't get it. There's no other way around it. And if at any moment there's somewhere else you'd rather be than working toward that goal, quit. You're done. It's
doing
over.
the wrong thing. Yeah.
There should be no other place you would rather be in that moment than working toward that goal, or with that goal in mind, or if it's not adding to that goal, then it's not worth it, you know? So that would be overall, yeah.
Do the damn work.
Can't fake it.
I like it.
And if there's ever a moment you question it, you got to reassess.
Beautiful. I like it. Lando, you got anything else for this hero?
That's it, man.
Definitely check out our YouTube, because we have some ridiculous video of you dunking any variety of objects that I was able to throw at you.
I almost dunked Lando.
You almost dunked Orlando.
Yeah, I got to say I was in the arms of an Olympic athlete, so that's good. Got that going for me. I'll add that to my Tinder profile.
Epic. All right, my friend Trey Hardee, where can people find you, keep up with you on social media and stuff? If they
Everything's at Trey Hardee. Instagram, Trey Hardee, TreyHardee. On Facebook, like me on Facebook. Everything's updated through there. Twitter is at Trey Hardee. It's all there. I'm not on Tinder, not on any of these dating sites. All conventional forms of social media. I'm out there.
Do not Snapchat Trey Hardee.
Yeah, TreyHardee.com. If you want to contact me, ask me any questions. Yeah, and I like to hear from people. I like to know what they want to see. I'll post videos from time to time if they want to see me do a bench press workout. If they want to see me do block starts, anything like that, just shoot me a note and we'll see what we can do for you.
Beautiful. Yeah, we'll try to point to any of that stuff that comes up too.
If you want to see me dunk Orlando,
yeah, look at YouTube. See if it happens. All right, my friend. Great to have you in, man.
Right on. Thanks for having me, guys.
All right, people. We'll see you next week with who, Lando?
Diane San Felipe.
All righty then. Sounds good. Adios.